The Washington Commanders held Thursday practice here in Ashburn, Virginia, and it was a practice that is gearing up for an important home game against the Cleveland Browns. And for my money, this might be the most important game under the new regime of Josh Harris, Adam Peters, and Dan Quinn. Of course, Jaden Daniels, their rookie phenom quarterback, has picked up another award. Today was named the NFC Player of the Month for just a phenomenal start to his pro career for the month of September. I think Sunday is going to be one of those crowds that you haven't seen in Washington for over the past, decade. I think this fan base is rabid. They're starting to feel the excitement, and they have a chance to show that this comes Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. There's going to be a tough football game, though, because the Browns were a team that I predicted during the offseason that was going to be a legitimate chance to, or threat to compete against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it just hasn't happened. They were demolished in their opening game against the Dallas Cowboys, won the second week, and then last week didn't look good at all. So if you're Washington, you don't want to overlook a team that, in years past would have given you fits. Matter of fact, if you're Washington, you're trying to do something now that the good football teams do, and that's beat teams that you're supposed to beat. So this may be Washington's first game coming into the game as a prohibited favorite because they've been underdogs in their previous 4 games. In today's practice, you saw, a lot of special teams play. Austin Eckler was out on the field, fielding some balls, with the quarterbacks taking some passes. He was last in the group line, but he still was out there. So that's a good sign if you're an Austin Eckler fan for the Commanders. Brian Robinson was not at practice today or did not participate, so that's 2 days now, which he hasn't. And I think that that's going to be, a sign of concern if tomorrow he's not out there during any kind of walkthroughs. This is one of those games, though, if you're a Commanders player, it would be hard-pressed for me to believe that Brian Robinson doesn't play on Sunday because, let's face it, a lot of these guys haven't performed in front of a crowd that we're expecting. In fact, just something off the record, which now is on the record because we're going to talk about it, but my good friend and colleague, Candy Waller from Seawall Sports, does a great job. You should check her out. She was talking to Dan Quinn and Adam Peters today outside the locker room, and they asked her, what's the word? What are they hearing? Are the fans going to be there? So Dan Quinn had mentioned that in previous years when he would come in, it was always, the team he was on had more fans. So if you're a Commanders fan, you want to support these guys. You want to be out there on Sunday. And again, I think it's going to be a game that Washington is going to be favored to win. I'm predicting them to win the football game. I'm not giving you my predictions yet, but I am predicting them to win. In the locker room today, it was a little later we were inside there, so it was kind of sparse as far as who was in the locker room. But we did get a chance to talk to rookie left tackle Brandon Coleman, who's been doing a really good job. He kind of worked his way back, from an injury that he sustained during training camp. And now he's platooning right now, splitting time with Cornelius Lucas at left tackle. But I think ultimately you'll see him start to pick up more reps and become the guy because he's that talented, and he won a lot of guys over in the locker room. Well, he's going up against Myles Garrett, as we talked about, one of the best players in all of football, Defensive Player of the Year last year. So this is what his thoughts were as far as his indoctrination going up against Myles Garrett.
Yeah, preparation-wise, just preparing my own game. So I have to work on building confidence. But I reach respect for that guy. Obviously, one of the best passer at the end there's been. So respectfully, I just prepare my own game, stay focused on myself.
The coordinator spoke today as well, and Cliff Kingsbury spoke with us, as well as Coach Joe Witt, the defensive coordinator. And Joe Witt's defense had one of their best performances of the season last week against the Cardinals, and they're going to need that this week if they're going to hope to maintain, Deshaun Watson and that Cleveland running game as well. Joe Witt said, as far as, scaling down the defense, trying to simplify some things for his players.
The communication was outstanding. I mean, we had we cut the missed assignments down a ton. One thing we did coaching-wise is we streamlined the call. So we narrowed the call sheet down some. Maybe I was trying to do too much, and so I was like, okay, let's just make sure these guys can set their feet and go play fast, and let's not be cute with anything. Let's just play fast, and that's what we did. And the communication was outstanding with the guys, and then they went and played. They hit, and they ran. It's the way it's supposed to look.
So that does it for Thursday's practice here in Ashburn. We'll have more tomorrow as the Washington Commanders get a day closer to Sunday's big showdown at Northwest Stadium against the Cleveland Browns. Here in Ashburn, I'm Lake Lewis.